All right, well, we have a primary on our hands in just a few days, on Tuesday, May 15th. And one part of the primary is, if you have a Republican ballot, you have two choices for CD5. One of those two choices is Fred Thompson, who ran back in 2010. Hi, Fred. How you doing?
Fine, Bill. How are you?
Fantastic. Sunny, beautiful day. Can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm sorry I didn't make it last week. You know, I had a family tragedy,
right.
But we got the funeral tomorrow. But, you know, it's our life's been upside down the last couple of weeks. And I really did want to have that debate on your radio show. And maybe I win the primary. Maybe Schrader and I will get on there and debate. I'd like that.
If you can drag old Kurt in here, man, I'll tell you what, I'd probably slide you something under the table. I don't know if we can ever get that guy to do anything, but well, okay, Fred, I want to ask you, I want to do the same sort of thing that we were going to do, and that is I had some questions that listeners sent to me, and they said, could you ask the folks this? So I said, okay, sure. And I think they're great questions. They're better questions than I could probably ask. So let me start with this. Wayne wrote in this. He said, I want to hear from you your pro-growth, pro-job, and pro-export tax replacement solutions for America.
Well, it's pro-growth, and especially in Oregon, it's our timber. We got to get back into our timber. I mean, that is what declined our growth in the beginning here the last 25, 30 years. So we're a natural resource state, and the federal government owns 50, 60% of that timberland. We need to get that in the hands of the counties and get it back in the hands of the Oregonians so we can start generating jobs. Just a couple months ago, Bill, Canada opened up 18 mills, and they're milling lumber today and putting it in containers going to China. That should be what Oregon's doing, and we're not doing that. I mean, good grief, historically has been our number one economic engine for this state. It's taken it away. We've got our forests are not healthy anymore because of that, and that's the cornerstone of my whole campaign is I'm a timber guy. I've been in it for 25 years. I understand it probably better than all 5 of our Congress people put together, and then you want to throw in the 2 senators, do that too. Because I've certainly modernized mills. We've utilized wood products ever since before Noah built the Ark. Timber will be here after Nike's gone and Starbucks gone and Intel's gone. I mean, wood products will always be part of what we want, and we need to get back to that because it is probably one of the most progressive, environmentally friendly industries out there today because we utilize everything out of the tree but the shade. So let's get back and embrace that, get that going again, and let our rural areas get back to providing great jobs because they're high-paying jobs. Yep. And then behind every one of those jobs, you got 4, 5, 6 people, that are supporting it: the logging companies, the vendors, the restaurants, the gas stations, so on and so forth. So, and I'll tell you, this is the best tree-growing area in the whole wide world.
Yeah. No
so
doubt.
we need to get back to that and allow that to happen.
Well, let me ask you this: when Wayne asked this question, he said pro-growth, pro-job, pro-export tax, and he went on to say solutions for America because you're not just representing Oregon, you'll be representing America with your votes in Congress. So now widen that out to how does it affect all of America? Well,
energy. We've got to get energy independent. I mean, we're spending close to $1 trillion a year on energy. We need to bring that back here. We have all the natural resources that we need in this continent. The United States needs to be able to do that, and we take that money, take a dividend from that, support our Social Security. Let's not take anything away from the seniors. They've kind of earned their dividend, so let's pay them that dividend. Let's go ahead and start funding our schools again. We need to start doing that. Nationwide, we need to get, for instance, Bill, if we was to open up a big manufacturing facility here in Oregon or in the rural areas, where are we going to get the labor? Where are we going to get the skilled labor to take care of those jobs? We don't have it. We've lost that. We've lost sulfiders. We've lost all those millwrights and electricians. We've lost those people. And that goes all the way across the United States. North, south, east, and west. Everybody is affected this way. Obviously, North Dakota has got a good handle on that with utilizing their natural resources. Got $1.3 billion in additional revenue in their state coffer. We would have over $5 billion in Oregon today, and we would not be going through this today if we had a government that would embrace our natural resources. And, of course, if you look back at what Ronald Reagan did, he lowered the tax base, and he either froze or he eliminated a lot of the regulations and allowed the businesses to take off, and that's what we need to get back to. Well, got a proven track record there.
By using the three-letter tax word, that takes me to the next part of this, and I think you kind of led right into that. As a congressman, what do you think is the solution to taxes in America? In other words, do you have any idea for tax reform or something that you could see that would benefit America?
Well, tell me what's not taxed anymore.
Yeah.
From our phones to everything. I mean, whether you want to call it a user fee or whatever, they tap everything. And I think we need to go back and take a real look at that and see exactly, all the taxes that we have, and they have a lot of creep factor, where they've added taxes, and people say, well, it's just 2 cents here, 3 cents there. You start looking at what you're paying in taxes. You'll find out that you're just being overburdened with that. And what they do, Bill, is they get all of this tax money, and then they turn around and they feed it back to the states, and they call it federal money, federal dollars.
Yeah.
And our local government here says, well, it's not part of our budget, it's federal dollars. Well, those dollars came from us, came out of our pocket. Look at the gas taxes, phone taxes. You look at everything that's being taxed today. We've got to stop that. I mean, that's what's collapsed in Europe, and that's what's going to collapse the United States too. So we got to go back and look at that whole structure and take a look at that and say, do we really need that? And I'm sure we could come up with places that we could take that tax away and let it go back to a local area. Let local control take that. And that way people have control over who they elect. That's why I like county government and city government a lot better than I even like state government. Because you can have some really good county and good cities, but then you got the overreach of the state. Oregon's a good example of that with 66 and 67. And then you look at the federal government, which is another bureaucracy on top of that.
Yeah,
we got to stop it.
All right, let me again. We're talking with Fred Thompson, who is on your Republican ballot. He is running for Oregon Congressional District 5, the opportunity to go on and face Kurt Schrader in the November election. Here's a question from Don. He says this: Republican candidate after Republican candidate has lost to a weak Democrat candidate in this district. What makes you the person who will change this outcome?
Well, because I'm totally opposite of Kurt Schrader, of what they put up there. I mean, I'm not a what I call seminar trained politician. I am from Main Street America. I'm just like the people out there that vote. And I'm not doing this because I want a career. I'm doing this because it's a mission that I need to do it because it's for our kids. And it's to support our senior citizens. So I'm totally different than any of the other candidates that have been up there before. And I've had a great life. I worked around the world. I've done so many things, and I have such a very wide bandwidth that, I'm ready for this. I'm better qualified than the people who are sitting there today. I mean, that's how I truly feel. My education, I carried the lunch pail for 20 years before I went on and got my bachelor's and master's degree. I've done so many good things that when you really take a look at my background and you really see who I am, compare it to anybody else out there. I mean, you'll see that I really, truly do have the skills to go back there in Washington, D.C. And I've had these people say, hey, well, you don't have any political skills. Well, look, I worked in a very large corporation, a Fortune 50 company. And if you don't think that there's politics in a large corporation, then I don't know what you've been reading.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'll tell you what, in large corporations, the difference between politics there and politics in Washington, D.C. is in large corporations, you're held accountable. Washington, D.C., you're not. And I'll tell you, when you mess up in a large corporation, they just hit the trap door and you're out of there. So I understand the political field. And understand how to work with people. And by the way, with my background going going back to Washington, D.C., and I know a number of representatives, and I've met a few senators because I've worked all over the United States. I'll have some camaraderie with them, especially the ones that have been in the military, like Alan West. I can't wait to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Our military background, I know where he's coming from, and he certainly knows where I'm coming from.
All right. Again, Fred Thompson with us. Fred, can you hang on through one more segment?
I'm here as long as you want, Bill.
All right. Hang on just one little bit here. Fred Thompson with us. He is running for the Oregon Congressional District 5 as a Republican on your ballot. If you have your Republican ballot and you haven't filled it out yet, this is exactly why I've begged you, don't fill out your ballot yet, so you have a chance to hear what Fred Thompson has to say today. All right, so stay right there, and we'll be back with more with Fred Thompson in just a moment.
3 hours of the Bill Post Radio Show.
When's this thing going to end?
On 1430 KYKN. We'll be right back. Here's more of the Bill Post Radio Show.
Okay, we're talking with Fred Thompson, who is running for Oregon Congressional District 5. Fred, I want to ask you a question. We had your opponent on a little while ago, I think it was last week, and I asked this same question, and I think it's a valid question, and her answer was curious, and I'd love to hear your answer, and that is this. Okay, we all know that Kurt Schrader has a gob of money. Last I saw, it was about $1.8 million or something like that. Enough that he could lend his wife, who's running for a Clackamas County Commissioner position, $25,000. That's a lot of money. And that means a lot of TV ads. And no matter how you slice it or dice it or cut it, if there are enough dumb people that they see TV ads, they're convinced. You could knock on every door in Marion County and wherever. There are people that only watch TV. How do you defeat that?
Well, his wife wanted the $25,000. It's probably in their divorce settlement. She's probably got a little leverage there, so he had to cough up some money.
No, they say that it's amicable, and they just, he gave her $25,000 for her campaign. I'm just saying that's how confident he is.
Yeah, well, he's pretty confident. When he started to run in 2008, it was asked of him if he was willing to put $1 million of his own money in it, and he said yes. He's a multimillionaire. He's one of the richest guys in Congress.
Yeah.
So he's gonna put in all the money that he needs to get that job. He's averaging $1 million a year to run for a job that pays $173,000.
Right.
What does that tell you? And he's not doing it because he needs the money, because he already has the money.
Right.
So he's it's a lot of this bill has to do with, and that is the first question that people ask me, or the second one: how much money have you raised? I'll raise all the money that I need to take on Schrader. It's how you spend the money. It's who you have on your team. With the right message, you get the right organization that brings you the money. So this will be a very competitive race. And we've been watching him. I've been studying this since 2007. And so I've been studying him. We study him every day. We follow him all the time. I've been to his town halls, which, by the way, he could probably meet more people if he worked the drive-up window at McDonald's, because it's a pretty staged event.
Yep.
And so, he pretty much thinks he has it in the bag. And I understand that. I don't need to do any polling. I'll figure I'm always 15 or 20 points below him. But I'm going to run all the way to November 7th. I'm not just going to, think that I've got wind in my sails and I'm going to beat this thing. This is an uphill battle. I understand that. Understood that when I put my name, to run in 2012. But this has been a marathon. Like I said, I've been looking at this now since 2007. And so I'm prepared for this, and I'm prepared to do what I need to do, and we'll get the money that we need to make it a very competitive race. But my question is to the people out there, have you contributed to the candidate of your choice? Because you just can't, I know everybody just wants to mark their ballot and think that they've done their job, but there is some other things that people need to do. They need to, if you can't find a sign, make a sign. If you can walk your neighborhood, talk to your neighbors, call people. This election is not about us; it's about our kids. So we're looking at our children and grandchildren and great grandchildren of being under the shackles of socialism if we continue to go down the road that we're at today.
All right,
this is pretty serious, Bill.
Yeah. All right, now Tim asked the question, and again, it was in anticipation of the two of you being here last week, and so keep that in mind that this was back a week or two ago.
Yes.
He wanted to ask you specifically, in 2010, it was not a successful bid in the primary for this same district. What have you learned? What are you doing different? That sort of thing is what he's asking. What is it that you would do differently, or are you going to do anything differently from 2010?
Well, I've gotten a lot better, and I think that you can see that in the endorsements I got from the Statesman Journal. They recognize that. I got it from the Oregonian. They recognize that. And I also got it from the Willamette Week. They recognize that. I'm a much better candidate now than I was in 2010. But, you know, in life, it's always about learning. And, you know, I ran against Scott, and Scott taught me a lot of things. And I learned from him, and I've learned from others, and I've been to school on this thing, and you know, I've done a lot of things in my life. If you look at my education track, I've been very successful, from millwright to electrician to welder to businessman to, you know, in the military. Everything that I've done, I've learned all along what I needed to do to be successful. I even got the chairman's award at Georgia Pacific, and there was 65,000 employees there. So I think I can meet the challenge, and then it's up to the voters. It's up to the voters to take a look at the candidate and see who they really want to represent them. Schrader has a track record, and do you like what he's done? I mean, look at our job situation today. Look at our, you know, Obama is in Nevada, and he's trying to help people that are being foreclosed on. Well, the way to help people being foreclosed on is open up, lower the taxes, open up the restrictions so business can start, so people can get a job, and they can afford their own mortgages. I mean, that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. You know, Schrader's very reactive, Obama's very reactive, I'm very proactive, and that's the difference between his style and my style.
All right.
And so I'm you know, I'm anxious for this. I've been dreaming about debating this guy. I really want this. I want this debate.
All right, we look forward to it. Okay, why don't you tell me what's the website or email or Facebook or whatever it is? What's the best way that people can learn more about you as we get down to those last few days before Tuesday?
Well, one of the things I learned since last time is Facebook. The social media is phenomenal. Things are posted on there 2 or 3 times a day. I have dialogue with people all the time. You know, you can see that. Just go to Fred Thompson Salem. There seems to be a lot of Fred Thompsons out there, and so just go Fred Thompson Salem. You'll see that, and then you can respond and like stuff or put notes on there or ask questions, and we'll get back to you, or I'll get back to you. You can do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
But that's where we're at, and of course, vote this coming Tuesday, and I certainly appreciate anybody's vote. The votes for me. And by the way, Bill, I've had a number of Democrats that have come up to me and said, "Look, we're voting for you." And there's a Democrat who follows me all the time. Nice young man, by the way. He has two fine sons, little guys, and I enjoy talking to him. I told him, I said, I don't. He says, you're the first Republican that's really been really nice to me. And I said, well, look, you're an American. That's all I care about. Mm-hmm. I said, but look, they're paying you to do this job, so I want you to take good notes. I'll talk real slow. If you miss anything, let me know, and I'll repeat it for you. I said, always be honest and truthful. And you mentioned a little bit ago about an honest politician. Well, right now I am one. I'm sure when I win the primary, Kurt Schrader will figure something out, and I'm anxious to see some of these advertisements he put out. I watched what he did to Scott Brun, which was complete false and a lie, and so I'm ready for that too.
All right, Fred, I'm totally up against the clock. Fred Thompson, running for U.S. Congress in CD5. Thank you, Fred, for your time today.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Fred Thompson, Republican for CD5 in Oregon.
Occupying